Welcome, welcome. Happy Friday. Today we're talking about Shepards. We'll be talking about Shepards all month long because it's that important and it gets its own dedicated month for training. I will go ahead and share my screen. We will get started. Okay, so Shepard Citation Service. Today we're going to talk about the who, what, when, why, how, all that good stuff. Okay. So we'll talk about the Shepard signals. Today, we're really going to focus on the Shepard's report for validation. Next week, we're going to talk about Shepard's as a research tool. Now, just an FYI, I'm actually going to be out of town next Friday. So what I'm going to do is record our 15-minute Friday for next week and send it out to everyone on Sunday. So I'll put it in a Google form, and when you complete that Google form, you'll still earn your 100 points. And then I'll draw our big prize from everyone that completes 15-minute Friday. So no 15-minute Friday next week, but we will resume 15-minute Fridays on the 23rd. We'll still have our tip next week on Tuesday, just like we always do, but I just won't be here on Friday to do it. I know y'all are so sad. So what is Shepards? Shepards is a citator, and the verb shepardizing usually means that you've looked at the Shepard report to see whether your case has been treated negatively or positively, overturned, superseded by statute, all that good stuff. So your Shepard report is the thing that tells you that. Now, Shepard's is a Lexis exclusive, and we use it for two things, right? We use it to validate the law, so to tell us, is it safe to cite to this case, particularly in our jurisdiction, and also, what other authority can we find using the Shepard's report? So this is Frank. Frank Shepard started Shepard's over 140 years ago. He was actually not a lawyer. He was a door-to-door book salesman, and he saw a need to update attorneys on the law and how it had been treated. So he started publishing the Shepard's reports in these books. Lexis actually bought Shepard's in 1996, and we put it all online. So now it is all at your fingertips. There are 3 ways to access the Shepard's report. One is when you pull up a case, you'll always see the Shepard symbol next to the name of the case, and clicking on that symbol will Shepardize the document. 2, you can click Shepardize document from the Shepard's treatment box on the right-hand side, and once again, that'll pull open the full Shepard's report and everything that's talked about that case. Third way you can Shepardize is what I like to call the Shepard shortcut, and it's to enter Shep : followed by the citation. So it's not just cases and statutes that you can Shepardize. You can Shepardize law review articles, restatements, CFR sections, patents, agency decisions. There's tons of stuff there that you can Shepardize and should Shepardize to help you find additional info. We'll talk a little bit more about that next week. But Shep : will bypass the document and take you right to that Shepard's report. So it's a great way to get directly to Shepard's. Now, to Shepardize for validation, we focus on the first 2 tabs in the Shepard's report, which is what we're going to look at today. So you can see these are the 4 categories that we have in Shepard's. Appellate history shows us the procedural history of the case that we're Shepardizing. So the up and down of that opinion through the court. Citing decisions gives us every opinion that's ever cited to our case that we're Shepardizing. And then other citing sources is everything that's not an opinion, and the table of authorities is everything that your case cites to. We'll look at those 2 tabs for next week. That's expanding your research. You use all 4 tabs. Validating your research, you use appellate history and citing decisions. Now, every case on Shepard's is typically updated within 24 hours of being rendered. So the court issues an opinion, our Shepard's attorney editors go to work, and they update the Shepard signal and anything that's impacted by that case within 24 hours. Now, these are our Shepard's signal indicators. There are 7 of them on Lexis. That's more than Westlaw or Bloomberg. So the first one is the red stop sign. That means that there's negative analysis impacting the decision that we've Shepardized. Typically, that means that a court has overruled the opinion either in whole or in part. It could also mean that it's been superseded by a statute. So a statute has since been passed, which deals with that issue, so the case is no longer good law. The red exclamation point is like the stop sign, but it's used for statutes. So when you see the red exclamation point in a statute, that means that there's negative treatment, usually that a court has declared it to be unconstitutional or void. The orange question symbol means that there's somebody out there questioning the precedential value of our opinion or the analysis of the decision. So they're saying, we're not so sure how much weight this should be given in the long run. The yellow triangle means possible negative analysis. So that looks like criticizing or distinguishing an opinion. The green plus sign means that your case has been followed by other cases or other courts. The blue symbols, remember, are neutral, so there's not negative or positive analysis associated with those, but the blue A means that you have analysis available that is not negative or positive. So when we look at a Shepard's report in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you how you can actually use the neutral symbols to learn more about the topic or the case or the statute, because there's a category in there that says explained by. That one's really helpful. The blue I just means that citing references are available without analysis. So the reason that we Shepardize is it's a CYA tool. It makes sure that we don't get embarrassed in court, and we use it as a sword and a shield. So we're going to watch Marcia Clark really quick. This is from the O.J. Simpson trial. I'm going to fast forward just a little bit.
I meant to start with that, Your Honor. I got sidetracked.
That would help.
There is no, I'm sorry. There is no legal provision for a motion for reconsideration in criminal law. That is only in civil law. It is recognized in Civil Code of Procedure Section 1008. And what they require in civil law is that the party seeking reconsideration show newly discovered facts. In this case, we have no newly discovered facts with respect to the motion for reconsideration of Laura McKinney.
But doesn't the case law dealing with that particular code section include criminal cases? If you Shepardize that, you come up with some criminal cases.
We did. I believe that none were found, Your Honor. We don't have any in our motion, which leads me to believe that no, there aren't any criminal cases under that section. And you asked me that question because you knew Ms. Lewis wrote the motion, huh?
No.
But no, as far as I know, there are no criminal law cases that involve that section because it's not recognized in criminal law. So, I mean, at least in theory, we didn't have to have all the argument. But
So if my Pepperdine law clerks found some...
Did they? Criminal cases? And what do they say?
Say it's applicable to criminal law cases.
Okay. Nevertheless, we don't have any newly...
So I love this video because that's embarrassing, right? Nobody wants that to happen.
I'm sorry.
You don't want it to happen when you're in class, when you're arguing a motion or a brief or whatever it is. So Shepard's is the tool that helps us see where the law applies, how it's been interpreted, and if the Shepard stuff impacts our analysis or our jurisdiction, and can we cite to it. So let's take a look at how we actually do that. Oh, and let me just show you guys the prize for today. It is, I think this thing is really cool. Clearly I pick prizes that I just think are cool. So it's one of those laptop desks where you can actually work and have your laptop in front of you. It comes in a couple of different colors. It's got a cup holder. You can put your computer on it. You can take notes, blah, 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 blah. So that's our prize for today. We'll do a search question for that shortly. So let's pull up an opinion so that I can kind of show you a little bit more about the Shepard's report. Well, I like Pennoyer because we have all the signals in Pennoyer. So it helps us kind of understand how all of those signals work. All right, so remember 3 ways to Shepardize. We could click on the signal here, and this is telling us negative treatment is indicated. We could Shepardize the document on the right, or we could always use Shep : and type in the citation in the search box, and that'll take us right to the Shepard's report. So the Shepard's preview box over here on the right shows us there are 3,416 opinions that have cited to Pennoyer. And then we have those symbols that break down the treatment. So we have one negative case that says something negative about Pennoyer, overrules it either in whole or in part, 64 questioned, then we have a handful of caution, positive, and neutral. So citing decisions is how we validate the law. The other thing that's useful is the reason for the Shepard signal, which is always at the top of the Shepard's preview box. This is a quick pop-up that's going to give you a heads up as to the strongest impact on your case. So this is the reason that there is a red stop sign. It's telling us it's because it was overruled by Schaefer versus Heitner in 1977. And we could click on that and go right to that discussion. If there's more than one case that's treated yours negatively, You'll be able to click view all and see everything, but Lexis will pull the strongest and put it in reason for the signal. So let's click Shepardized document so that we can see the full Shepard's report for Pennoyer. And there's a couple of things that I want to point out. So you see your 4 tabs for the Shepard's report over here on the left-hand side. And right now we are in citing decisions. So we're looking at the 3,416 decisions that have talked about Pennoyer. The Appellate History tab, remember, that's the procedural history for Pennoyer. Sometimes you can have a red stop sign in a case because of the appellate history. Maybe it was overturned on appeal, which can sometimes happen. So you do want to pay attention to these tabs. It's going to show you that this is the citation that we Shepardized. This is the prior opinion stuff. So it was in the district court in 1875. Once that case ended, it went for costs and fees, and then it went up to the U.S. Supreme Court in 1878. You also have a map view of this. So if you click the little pie chart up at the right corner, that's going to show you the same thing just in a nice little chart. So for some cases, this map is pretty intense. If you look at criminal law cases that maybe have a habeas petition, death penalty cases, any case that has a lot of up and down in the procedural history, you're going to be able to use this to see where it went, when it got sent back down, what happened when it got sent back to court, so on and so forth. So the map view can be really helpful for that. The default is just the full view that we already looked at. In the Citing Decisions tab, you can narrow your Shepard's report by using your filters on the left. So of course we'd want to look at that overruled by, right? That's the Shaver versus Heitner. Your questioned includes the abrogated, it includes as stated in, means that that case didn't overrule it, but that case is discussing it being overruled. Same thing for caution. You've got criticized, distinguished, criticized as stated in. Your neutral, remember how I said there's a category called explained by? This can help you understand an opinion or a statute when you look at the discussion of who's explained what. That's going to help you understand it. You can narrow by court. You can narrow by time. You can narrow by what we call depth of discussion. So if you want to see those cases that have talked about Pennoyer and analyze them, you'd be looking for those that have the 4 bars. 3 means they've discussed it, 2 mentioned, 1 cited. You can also narrow the Shepard's report by a particular headnote. You can do this from the opinion or from the Shepard's report itself. You can search within these results for a particular reference to a keyword or a fact that you have, and you can narrow by time. So lots of ways to narrow the Shepard's report. You also have what we call a grid view. This is in our tip for next week. The grid view shows you that same information in a nice, colorful, visual format. So it gives you every jurisdiction that's cited to Pennoyer across the bottom, and then you get that treatment on the left, so we can quickly see that it's the U.S. Supreme Court that has treated it negatively. Clicking on any one of those boxes will take you right to those cases. At the bottom, you have the same information, but it's by date instead of by court. And that is, again, you click the pie chart and you're going to see that information there. Okay, so that's kind of our intro to Shepard's, our Shepard's in a nutshell for today. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into the Shepard's report next week and talk about these 2 tabs and how to expand your research with Shepard's. The email on Sunday. If you have questions or you get stuck, you guys know that I'm always here and so are your Lexis reps. So reach out to us at any time. Have a great weekend and I will see you soon. Bye, y'all.